Welcome to TRS Clips, India's fastest learning portal. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that bell icon.
It became headlines in all media within few minutes of it actually happening. It was in Gwalior, 24th February. I had, as an Air Marshal, gone on a sort of a official visit to the base, and I went into the same squadron which I had commanded many years back, the Mirage 2000 squadron. So in the squadron, it is traditional for senior military officers to lead from the front, to go and fly, to show to the young boys that, okay, we are as strong, as bold as you people, young people are. So traditionally, when the senior person comes, the CO himself flies with you in a two-seater. But being a Mirage pioneer, I was doing all the flying. And so we got airborne, and after we got airborne, within 5 minutes, we were climbing at around a height of 11,000 feet. And when we heard a huge bang at the back, just behind this rear seat, and when we looked inside, we found that the engine RPM was winding down, the temperatures had shot up, the fire warning light had come up. So that is an indication that engine has quit. Something has obviously happened. Either something has hit the engine or something is broken inside. Later on, we found out it is some turbine blade had broken. But then the aircraft now is a fighter class of aeroplane, starts descending very quickly. You get a few seconds to take quick calls, and it's a test of your training, a test of your years of experience that time, and you have to take a quick decision. So between the two pilots, one was trying to restart the engine and the other was reading out all the parameters, supporting each other. And when the time came that, okay, we are running out of height now, so I gave a call to the other person, and that call is recorded on internet all over because that call became very famous. I said, Ram, it's time to go. Let's pull the handle, because that boy's name was Ram, the person who was sitting in the other cockpit. And then we pulled the handle, and I must tell you, the entire ejection process after you pull the ejection seat handle takes about 2.5 seconds. In 2.5 seconds, in this particular aircraft, 19 to 20 rocket stroke cartridges fire in a pre-designated sequence. And that sequence cannot change. I mean, it happens very fast, and many things have to be done. Your body has to be pulled back, the canopy has to be flown away, lots of things, and then you start. The rocket must start firing in such a way that your neck or back doesn't go through compression. So, like that, a lot of activity take place. And in that 2.5 seconds, the body is going through high G, that is force of gravity, close to 28, 30 Gs. That's one hell of a lot of force. Your eyes immediately go through a blackout because the blood from your brain drains downwards. And then after 2.5 seconds, when the parachute opens, my God, that is bliss. That's the time you feel, oh my God, I'm all right, I'm alive. And then you see the beautiful green countryside under you. And that's the super absolute feeling. And of course, the parachute then descends. In my case, the ejection was in Chambal region. We all know Chambal has got these little mounds, it's... when you go by train through Chambal, you get an impression that these are of mud. But when you actually hit them, they are rock solid because you have seen hundreds of years of weather, wind and rain. So they are rock solid. And of course, thereafter the story is long one. How I reached, the helicopter came, how we went over there. But I want to tell you one very interesting thing that. What were my feelings when I came out alive from this accident? This is something I want the youth to understand. Everybody introspects for that moment that, God forbid, today, if I had not come back, or I had gone, then I asked myself, what is it that I wanted to do in my life and I had not done? And two things came to my mind. I always wanted to learn a musical instrument. I had never learned a musical instrument. And second thing came to my mind, I always wanted somebody to bake bread in the house, which had never happened. So I told myself that the moment my initial hospitalization finishes, 1 or 2 days you have to be in the hospital because they have to check you out. That's the first thing I did. I went to Delhi's School of Music in Chanakyapuri, and I went and told them that I want to learn a musical instruments. And then between us, me and the school decided that I must play saxophone. So I went and bought a saxophone, and within 20-25 days, I played my first song. And today I can play the national anthem on the saxophone. But that's not what we're going to do today. And the second thing, we got a good chef to come and teach us how to make bread at home. So the point I'm making is, life is short. It has got its own dynamics. And so you must, fulfill your desires as and when, as early as you can, so that you don't have to regret later in life. Yes.
Wow, so that's a heavy story. But I got to take you back to that moment, sir. I don't think the Aam Janta understands what high G's actually feel like, and as far as I can tell, I believe as Air Force pilots, as Air Force personnel, you are trained to deal with high G's gradually. So what is that concept like, and what actually happens in your brain? What's the experience of it?
Yeah, G is a force of gravity. We all know when we are sitting you're sitting on a chair, we are experiencing 1 G. That is the way the earth is pulling to us. We all know that every body attracts each other. It has a relation to mass and, the size. So we are experiencing 1 G when we are sitting. Now, in an aeroplane, an airliner, when the airliner turns, they turn very, very gently and softly, but yet you experience 1.2, 1.3 Gs. That means a little more than your normal G that you will. Now, imagine if this, in a fighter aeroplane, as you turn faster and faster, typically a Mirage 2000 F-16 class of aeroplanes, they can maximum go up to 9 Gs. Because they have been designed, otherwise it's human, because then you hit the human limit of sustaining such Gs. Now, to improve your capability to withstand Gs, there is a special G suit which is made to wear. Remember, the soft parts of our body are the bellies and the thighs and the calves. When any force was to be exerted on our body and the blood was to get drained, the blood tends to accumulate at the in your belly or on the thighs or in the calves, because that's the place where there is a place for the blood to be able to go. So the G suit is such that you wear the G suit, it has got special bags, and automatically the air starts filling up at high pressure to compress these portions so that the blood does not go. So that is how the G is controlled. And when you are a young pilot, you initially fly in a piston engine aeroplane and slowly graduate to jets, and then you go to high performance aeroplanes like Mirage 2000, MiG-29, etc. So by the time you reach those aeroplanes, your body has been gradually built up from that 1 G to 3, 4, 5 Gs, and then slowly that you reach the 9 G stage. Now what all happens is, even with those bags that you are wearing, special G suit, at higher Gs, still the blood drains. And beyond a point, once the blood drains out of your brain, then you start getting a grey out and later on a blackout, because the blood from the eyes also goes downwards, and that is what is called. So the aeroplanes have been designed to take not to go more than 9 G, and these bags will reduce the total impact of that 9 G to maybe 4 or 5 Gs. So that is how this whole exercise of G takes place. Yes.